Part 9, part 9, part 9. Here we go. Hopefully we can get this done in 10, maybe with a showcase in 11. But right now for part 9, like I said in part 8, we're going to tackle this Rhino area and this road, all these craters. If you haven't seen 1 through 8, please go check out 1 through 8. Get up to speed and then come out, check this part 9 out. Hey everybody, this is Everyman and this is Everyman's 40K channel. So let's get into this. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to mess around with this jigsaw puzzle and we're going to have to cut and kind of chip away at this because obviously it's too much. We got too much cork board in here. We got a hole here that we got to do something here with. We got a little crater in here that we got to do something with. And again, we got to straighten this out. So here we go.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push a mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss. See, I got my mind on the facts. I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Took until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
Okay, so right there, I think that's what we're going to go with. So it took me a while, but again, I think this is it right here. So let me go ahead and get the glue out, start gluing these exact pieces in the exact spot, and get some of this ground cover out, and we'll start to ground cover it. Okay, let me get everything together and I'll be back. Okay, so the first one we're going to lock down is this one right here in this area. So basically, we take some glue, some water. This is just some old paint water. And all we're doing is we're going to make cement.
Every morning I wake up obsessed and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
Okay, so it's done. At the beginning, you saw the process, basically just cutting, fitting, sanding, gluing, and just continue the process until you get it the way you want it to look. Took me probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get this the way I wanted it. So over to the right, because now this is pretty wet with glue and everything. It's pretty heavy glue. So we're going to let this dry. Over to the right-hand side over here, I have a space heater. So I got a space heater. I'm going to set this like concrete so that we can go ahead and kick this off and get this moving much faster. All right. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this side right here, this destruction. So I got my coffee this morning, went and touched it, banged on it a little bit, and yeah, it's glued, it's solid. It'll probably even dry a day or two after, deep, underneath. We put so much glue. But yeah, it's solid. It's ready to, I can work with it now. So I went ahead and dropped that Rhino over there, so you guys can kind of see the Rhino in position. Got a little tuft of smoke there coming out. We'll airbrush that and do some things when it's time. But I just kind of wanted to show you the whole kind of image thing of what's going on over there in that corner. So the next thing we're going to do this morning is we are going to go ahead and we are going to cut open these spots for the miniatures. And then we have to make this road look like this road. So what I did is I went ahead and scratched in some wear patterns going down the road of some tire track marks or some age or some wear, right? So we have to kind of do the same thing on these, at least in key spots. So all I did was I took a steel ruler with a nice, it has a nice sharp kind of edge to it, and all I did is I just rubbed it. So for example, come in here, right? Find that line, and to just come in here and scratch the surface. And that's it. You just scratch the surface of the corkboard. See right there. And then when you paint it, right, the black depth, when you wash it and dry brush it, it looks like wear marks. And basically, right, about a ½ inch off the edge, so I know where that line is at. So again, I just got to come up here, ½ inch off this edge, right there, and then finish it off on this back piece. Okay, there we go. So that's ready for painting. So the next thing to do is we're going to start cutting these out. So all we do is we're going to go take a razor blade. Let me find one here real quick. Something like this, right? Box cutter, razor blade. And all we're going to do is we go around about 1/8 of an inch deep, because that's how deep a base is. Then just cross hatch it about 1/8 of an inch deep. Then pain in the butt, but just dig it out. Okay, that should be deep enough. Now, if it's too deep, what we can do is we take a pizza box or something, and we take our base and we put our base down on that pizza box, and we cut out a nice circle. Glue that circle, and then you've got a nice flat surface to set the miniature on. So let me take one of my boys here. Just like that. Perfect. Again, we got a little bit of work to do, but you see, that's the point, or that's the idea. So now I'm gonna do them all today. So the big one over here, I got 7 war dogs to do and 2 big ones. So let me dig all these out. You don't have to sit here and watch me do this. I'm going to dig all this out, vacuum everything, get it all cleaned up, and then I'll come back. And we're back. So I'm feeling pretty good about where we are at with the board. I have a March 4th and 5th weekend date that I'm trying to hit. And I got a lot of painting to do. I still got terrain. Anyway, I'm feeling pretty good, though. I think we're going to make it. So we have 9 spots cut into the board now, 2 bigs and 7 war dogs. I'm going to go ahead, turn the camera a little bit and show you. So you've seen these 2 online. I've done showcases, so I'm not showing anybody anything new here. So I've got that one big. He's in his spot. And I got this big, and he's in his spot. So let me talk about this big here. And I'm going to show you something underneath the base that I'm going to have to do, or I want to do, for all the locations. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this dude up. Move him to the side. Nice and easy. And as you can see, underneath there, it's nice and smooth. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this technique, or I'm going to apply this to every single one of them. And here's why. One, it looks better. So once I paint that black, spray it with the flat, it's just going to be a nice, cleaner look than styrofoam. In addition to that, I can go ahead and I can manipulate the height. And by doing so, I can show you. See these little things right here? So I went ahead and I sat that knight in its position, and I had to deal with this little spot back here because his toes were overhanging. And as well as this is a little bit too deep. So by positioning things underneath here, little standoffs and little risers, there's 2 under here. That's how deep that was. And in order to get his foot to sit where I needed it, I needed to put 2 there. So once I put 2 there, then go ahead and glue this down here like this. It just cleans it up, makes it neat, and I can control the level or the depth of the bases on each one. So again, that's what I'm going to do. So that's what's next. I'm going to position, I'm going to get out all my miniatures, all my knights. I'm going to go ahead and put them in their spots, and I'm going to raise and lower, and I'm going to cut out a poster board spots that look like that, and I'm going to fill each hole. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Again, this is simple. I don't have to show you. When I'm done, I'll come back. But you guys get the point, and it's going to clean this up, and it's going to make this look really nice. And it's going to make all the miniatures sit in their pockets nice and level. So when I come back, those will be done. See you in a bit. Now let's go ahead and continue. Each location for each miniature has now been set. Here is the pack of discs, or the set of discs that are going to go into each location. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pack of discs, take them into the garage, and we're going to flat black them with the Krylon flat. We're going to put the discs in as one of the last things we do for the board. So we're going to go ahead and do the terrain. We're going to go ahead and do everything else. Then each disc, flat black, is going to be inset. So that way they're clean, looking good, and perfect. What we're going to do tonight, or for the ending of the night, is we're going to go ahead and we're going to prime, or at least paint, that corner of all them craters. And we're going to take this just 2 paint permanent black. And that's what these roads were done with originally, is just black. So we're going to go paint that mess over there, them craters and the road. So that way we'll be able to set it up for dry brushing tomorrow. That way it'll have overnight to dry. I'm going to go ahead and probably paint this black, this tube, and I'll probably paint this one black. So I'll take this off and go ahead and paint those, get them ready for a silver and maybe some rust, or leave this black or something. So you guys don't need to see me paint this. I'm sure you've watched plenty of painting videos before and you guys know how to do this. So I'm just going to go ahead, shut the camera off. So tomorrow morning when we come back, that should be all black over there, ready for the dry brushing stage. And I'll go to the garage and these should be black. I'll go ahead and prime them maybe tonight. Like I promised, it's painted black, and I even went ahead and dry brushed it. So take a look at that road. Now the roads are not done. We're gonna add a little bit more color to the road. I'm gonna get out a kind of brown, sandy kind of color, and we're gonna just dust the road. We're gonna shift the color a little bit to brown, so it's not just black and gray. I don't want everything on the table to be black and gray, black and gray. We need the road to define itself separate from what the actual ground cover is going to look like, and that's going to contain a lot of black and white in the ground cover. So we're going to shift the actual color of the road to kind of a sandier concrete. Okay, so moving along now to talk about the discs. So the discs I painted black. At the same time I painted all this because I wanted to hide the white. So when we get those discs completely black and we inset them and glue them down, we don't want any of the white of the foam being able to be seen around that crack of those discs or when the model is in place. So we went with that, we went black. Also, when the model is not sitting in place and I'm actually using them to play at the table, then again we want that black. We just don't want all the white styrofoam. It's unprofessional. It looks like junk. So we have to paint them black. Now another thing you're going to see, and after I get done talking to you about this, we're going to go ahead, I'm going to shut this down and I'm going to have to do some more work off camera. So what this is this is a tool. We're going to use this, and I've got a secondary tool here for the 100 millimeters round right here. So what this is these are tools. Now what this is going to allow me to do is it creates a barrier. So when I sand the table and lay the glue on the table and start sanding, this creates a barrier that gives me the appropriate gap so that I know when I set my other model down inside there that it's gapped. So basically what I'm doing is I can't just start gluing this and have the glue running all down inside the edges. So again, thinking ahead, we created a barrier, we created a tool. So now I can go ahead and glue and sand right up to that edge and then pull this out while it's still a little bit wet. You know, while it's drying, it's going to dry. It's going to start to stiffen up a little bit. We pull that out, and that's going to make a nice, perfect shape for that model when it's ready to go in that hole to sit down in there. So I got the one here for the round 100 millimeter bases, and I got this one for the two bases for the bigs. So last thing, you can see here it's red. Here it's red. And then back here, again, red, right? So what red means is red is every place where there's going to be green ground cover. So you guys have seen some of my miniatures before, but here is, I'll go ahead and grab one. So see, right there where it's green. So every spot that's red, I've marked, and that's going to go green. So essentially, wrapping this portion up, I'm ready to ground cover. That's what I'm telling you. So at this point, I'm going to put the paint brushes down. I'm not going to paint anymore. And we're going to ground cover this baby. And I'm going to do it. Take me about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get all that done. And then I'll be back, okay? All right, stay tuned. We're coming back. All right. Finally, we're done. We got the terrain and the ground cover on the board. It took me 2 days to do this, and man, was it a pain in the rear end. Something so simple that you'd think was really easy, just time consuming, messy, all the glue, all the sanding, you know, coming out of the bucket onto the table. And then again, like I said, you got to clean up, you got to make sure the holes where the miniatures are at all fit in their spots nice. But here we are, another milestone. So as you can see in the upper right hand corner, I have let me go ahead and show you over here. I got the paint. So we're gonna go with the Payne's Gray. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna turn the board into this kind of deep blackish blue tinted look. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna do that. We're gonna paint all the rocks and stone area. We're gonna paint those a Payne's Gray. Then we're gonna go ahead and dry brush, add a little white to that, and then you know, kind of make it a little bit more bluish, grayish, milky a little bit, and then come back in with just a dry brush. And that's where we're at, and we're gonna move this forward. But next time you see it, it should be this kind of bluish, grayish look a lot different, look a lot better. It'll actually start coming together. Okay, so again, let me paint. Let me get this all done, and I'll come back and we'll show you the next look. All right, here we go. She's getting closer. So we went ahead and we painted and dry brushed the ground cover. Went ahead, got our grass in. Did a little work on the craters, kind of darkened them up on the interior. You know, down the center, kind of, you know, made them a little bit blacker there. We still have some work to do on the road. We still obviously don't have the buildings all the way down. As you can see in the picture, we got the Rhino primed. So we still have to wash, dry brush, highlight, and do some work with that, and then get it stuck down. As you can see, let me show you, I got some iconography going on. So we got an Imperial Fist symbol. I went ahead, built that today, got that stuck in there, painted that. In that center hole right above it, we're going to go ahead and do some stained glass work. We got some of our propaganda started. We rusted up the center a little bit better. Look at that rust on those steel beams or splitters. So the main reason I'm showing you this now is I wanted to show you this so that you can see this setup without the black discs in their holes, right? Because remember, we talked about finishing the where the miniatures sit. We talked about finishing those up with black kind of inserts. So I just wanted to show you that we're ready to put the inserts in. We've leveled them out. As you can see, inside each hole, I've got a little piece of paper or a disc or half a disc, kind of leveling them out. So before I go to bed, I'm going to go ahead and stick those in. I said that I was going to be the last thing I was going to do on the board, but I want to go ahead and get them down. So anyway, I'm just showing you. This is what it looks like prior to the black discs going in. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get that Rhino down over on the left in that crater. And then I got to drill some holes, and I got to start running the wiring for the flames, the little flickering candles and flames that we're going to stick in the back. And when we do that, I'll show you. So I got to run some 3 volt or 5 volt lines down into each building section and into that big crater. And then we're going to start the smoke and the fire and the flames and get that all working. Once we do that, I believe we can go ahead and we're going to lock these buildings in complete. And then we're going to finish the rubble around the buildings. Once that is started, the project is almost done, because from there we're just finalizing high detail painting. That's it. So we're going to rust up the bridge, do some highlighting on the bridge, things like that. Okay, so the discs are going in, and we're going to probably wash and get that Rhino set in there, and then I'll be back when we drill and run the wiring lines for the flames. So give me a few minutes, get these discs glued in, and then in the morning we'll start the Rhino. Okay, and we're back. So the last time I left you without the inserts being in. I said that's what we're going to do. So here we go. Inserts are in. As you can tell, right, good decision. They look clean, crisp, nice and round, perfect size. You know, the miniatures fit in there perfect. Just makes the board look a whole bunch cleaner when you got, you know, nice inserts or nice bottoms. So once I spray paint them or flatten the whole, because I got to clear coat this whole thing. Once we're ready to go, they'll get a nice coat of clear coat and flat, and they'll look really good. Okay, so on to the next thing. So here is some cardboard chunks that we went ahead and just tore them up, soaked them in black. They've been drying, and what these are going to be doing is these are going to go more, rubble against this building, and I'll throw a couple pieces up against that building over there on the left. So rubble for the building on the right, a couple more pieces on the building over on the left. We went ahead and we put a piece of rubble up top here coming off the building, right? So we got some rubble starting to do a little detailing work on the left side. So the next thing we're going to do, let me get this Rhino. Let me show you here. So the Rhino, the last time you saw it, it was just yellow. We just got it primed last night. So now we're starting to do the actual painting. So this is getting ready to be put over there. But before we do that, we're going to flip this around. We're going to do a 180 on the table, and it's time to drill the holes for the LEDs for the flames. All right, so we got this thing spun around. As you can see, now we are at the back of the board, and we're going to come over here. I'm going to put the camera down on the tripod. So that is where the Rhino is going to go. So let me go ahead and pick up the Rhino, and we'll show you. Rhino fits just like that. So we're going to drill right here. So I've located the spot. It's going to be right there. So there's nothing underneath this side at all. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take our trusty drill, and we're just going to plunge a hole straight down. Point of no return. Double check, make sure we got nothing there, and we're free. So very easy. That's it. So now again, 3 or 4 LEDs gonna work right off of one line, coming down underneath the board, coming up, boom, and then we'll just split everything off. 1, 2, 3. We just want to spread all that fire out because it's like the buildings are burning, right? So we got to get the flickering and the brightness. Okay, that's super easy. So now we got our spot where those LEDs are, the wires are going to come through for those LEDs. Now we're going to move the camera one more time, and then this is the tricky one. And again, same thing, 3 or 4 LEDs for this building. So come in here. Okay, there we go. So we didn't hit anything but tape. I just checked. I felt something under there and I was like, uh-oh, what was that? All that was a piece of tape. So we're good. Now looking at the underneath of the board. So this is the bottom. As you can tell, we have a set of wires over here, right? That is the one that's coming from the crater. That's the Rhino plugged through. Then we have the one right here, which is the first building. And then over here, you can see we have one right here. And that is the one that's coming out of the second building. All these have to then connect to this buck right here, or a voltage reducer. So this potentiometer allows me to go from the battery's 14 volts or 14.8 down to, we're going to run 4. So I'm going to run 4 volts to run all these lights, in addition to some other lights and things that we're going to run. So we have to terminate these wires. We have to heat shrink. We have to do some soldering. We're going to hook them all up, get power to when I throw the switch so that there's power on the other side. Then we're going to flip this back over and then hook it up and see what we got. See if we got power and get a little LED flashing. Okay, so let me terminate all these, solder, do some work under here, and I'll be back. Now, moving back to the top of this thing. As you can see, I have the Rhino over there on the left-hand side. I've got a little LED sticking out. I got the wire here, middle left, coming out from underneath. And then we have the wire over here on the right-hand side for this building set. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me pop in the buildings real quick. Piece of cake there. Piece of cake there. Okay, so now I said I wasn't going to detail out the Rhino. I was mistaken. I didn't lie to you, just mistaken. For me, it's all about perfection. That's the way I am. So I went ahead and I did detail out the Rhino. Let me show you real quick. I'm going to move the camera. So as you can see, we got scratches, battle damage, got the iconography on there. So ready to go. So now I'm going to show you a test. So let's back this up. Drop this baby down. Okay, so we're going to turn the lights out and I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you a test of the LEDs. And I want you to watch how that glows. And that glow hits that back of that building. Okay, so lights are off. There we go. Now that's just one LED. So that Rhino is probably going to have 3 LEDs around it. The middle left building, possibly 4 LEDs around it. And then the building to the right, again, probably 4 LEDs. Just kind of spread out. And inside, you know, where it glows. The building to the right, we now have windows. You can't see them here, but there are little plastic broken glass inside those windows. And we should be able to get the LED lights to reflect off those broken windows as they're flashing and kind of doing their little flickering. Okay, everybody, so this is part 9. Stay tuned for part 10. But part 10, I think, is going to be a finale. It's going to be the showcase. So part 10 is not going to be in for about 2 more weeks, and we're going to get this done. So I'm not going to show you any more videos. I can't give away all my secrets. I have some stuff that we're actually going to do to this board that I haven't even mentioned to you guys yet. Insanity, some insane stuff. So I can't reveal all my secrets. Got to keep some secrets hidden until the very end, or the wow factor, it just ain't going to be there for you guys. So we're going to wrap this one up. Please hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, hit that like button, tell all your friends on social media that I'm out here, your Facebooks, Instagrams, Discords, all your Discord channels of your Warhammer 40K homies. Tell them I'm out here, guys. So we're going to wrap part 9 up, get ready for part 10. It's going to be the finale, about maybe 2 to 3 weeks. This baby will be done. Like we always say on the channel, everybody, may all your dice rolls come up sixes unless you're looking for that one. Peace out, fellas.